Hey guys, it's Connor here from Connor O'Shea Fitness. In today's video, I'm going to go through a 15 to 20 minute follow along flexibility routine that you can do at home with no equipment. This is a really good routine to do, first thing in the morning or after a long day at work. It's going to target all the most common areas that get tight and locked up from long hours of sitting. So this is a really good tonic if you're working a lot. Now, the way I'm going to do it, and it's a good way for you to do it at home as well, is to start a repeating 60-second timer, and every 60 seconds you'll move on to the next exercise. If it is a one-limbed movement, so if it's like a right leg lunge or a left leg lunge, you'll do 30 seconds each side, or you can do 60 seconds each side if you want to spend a bit more time in the movement. Again, the 60 seconds, it's just an outline. If you want to do 30 seconds or 90 or 120 seconds in a movement because it feels better, that's completely fine. This is just designed to make it efficient, quick, and also hit everything that gets tight in your body, basically from postural issues and long hours of sitting. So I've got my 60-second timer here on my laptop. I'm going to start, and first exercise is a glute bridge. So with the glute bridge, you're going to lie on your back, and you want to make sure your lower back pushes into the ground, and then from there you lift your hips up and lower through the upper back, mid back, and lower back, and then finally touch your hips down again. So you want to really make sure that you're not going into an arch in your lower back with this position, and being mindful of that throughout the movement. The glute bridge, it's one of my favorite exercises to give clients, simply because it targets the glutes, it strengthens the glutes, and it stretches the hip flexors. The hip flexors get very tight from sitting a lot, the glutes get very weak, so it's a very good tonic if you spend a lot of time commuting or a lot of time sitting at a desk every day. All right, so this is a good one to do and to start, and it also just gets the muscles in that area warmed up as well. So once you've that done, you're going to go through, that's the timer just gone off, you're going to move from that into a glute bridge with thoracic rotation. So I'm touching diagonally, and then I'm lowering my hips down, hips back up again, and reaching diagonally over the opposite shoulder. Now this is a great exercise because it's activating your glutes again, getting them stronger, but it's also getting some mobility through your thoracic spine, which is your upper back, which also gets very tight from long hours of sitting and long hours of inactivity. You want to be careful with this one because it does require a bit of strength and control. And if you feel anything that is, uncomfortable in your upper back or your neck, you just want to scale it back. So I'm reaching all the way, all right? So I have good mobility. If you find it hard to do that, you can just reach to the side or even just look over your shoulder each time if you are quite restricted through your neck, okay? So after that, we're going to go into supine hip rotation. So, this leg, the rested leg, is supporting yourself, and I'm working on my left leg, and I'm focusing on the hardest variation because my leg is locked out, my knee is locked out, so the leverage is at its hardest with this variation. If I want to make it easier, I can just shorten the lever, okay? So the shorter the lever, it's going to put less stress on my hip joint, and this is a really good place to start, especially if you get any sort of clicking or discomfort through the hip. It's simply because you don't have the strength built there yet. So start with the shortened lever, and you can do either 60 seconds, clockwise, 60 seconds counterclockwise, or you can go for 30 seconds each side. It's really up to, the level that you're at with your strength and also how much time you have available to you. So there's no right or wrong here. So again, I'll just do the other way for the last few seconds on the timer. And all the time I'm focusing on keeping my lower back pushed into the ground as well. And that just keeps the lower back safe and reduces the risk of anything happening to the lower back. Again, if that is too challenging, you can bend the knee with this position as well. So from there, we're going to go into wrists, and moving into wrist prep. From there, you're going to rotate the elbow pits forwards and backwards. And with the wrist prep, there's a lot of different variations you can do, but the easiest one just for today's workout is just pointing the fingers back towards yourself And you know, if this is too challenging, you'll basically just bring your knees closer to your fingers, and that'll take a lot of the pressure off. If you are very restricted through the wrists, you can also put your hand back here as well, okay? So from there, we're gonna go into scap push-ups. So with the scap push-ups, you're going to stay in tabletop position, keeping your elbows locked out. You're going to allow your chest to drop between your arms, and you're going for slow and controlled reps. You're making sure that your shoulders are staying down away from the ears. And if you want to make this a bit more challenging, you can go off your toes. Okay, so this is a bit more advanced. So this is going to require a lot more scapular strength and also a lot more core strength. And what I'm doing here is keeping my quads activated, keeping my glutes tight, and my core is tight, and my chest is lowering down towards the ground, elbows don't bend, and coming back up. If you want to try that for a few reps and you don't have the strength to continue, you simply go back to the version off your knees and you can finish it out. So from there, we're going to go into a Spider-Man lunge. So push-up position. You're going to step the right leg up by the right arm. You're going to try and keep that back knee pretty active. And from there, you're going to reach your right arm up to the ceiling, looking at the fingers and switching sides. So left leg comes forward now and reaching all the way up. And if you can't get that range, that's completely fine. So what you can actually do is, first of all, just step a bit shorter. If you don't have the hip mobility, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you're finding it hard just simply to hold your body weight up, you can put your knees on the ground here and step your leg forwards, reach. It's going to get some twisting through your upper back, and then you're going to go back to the knees. You can go into a plank again, back down on the knees, and then your left leg comes forward again. And then you're going to reach all the way up again. So from there, we're going to go into a lunge. So it's called lunge A, and we're going to go from lunge A into a hamstring stretch. I'm only going to do my left leg simply because for the sake of the video, it's going to be easier for you following along. So with the lunge A, I'm staying up nice and tall through my torso, and I'm going to rock forwards and backwards roughly 10 times. And on the 10th rep, I'm going to focus on squeezing my opposite back glute. I'm going to keep my core tight so I'm not arching that lower back. And I should feel all of the stretch through the hip flexor on the front of that hip. Now, after I've done my 10 reps in a static hold for 10 up to 30 seconds, I'm going to sit back into a hamstring stretch. And with the hamstring stretch, I'm making sure that my stomach is staying in contact with my hip or with my thigh if possible, keeping my chest up. And then I'm just breathing into it. On the exhale, I move deeper into it. And I'm going to go through that one more time. So again, back into my lunge. I'm going to go for roughly 10 reps. And already on this second rep, I feel like there's much more range through my hip flexor and through my hamstring from opening it up. So this is a really, I guess, good bang for buck exercise. It hits a lot of stuff at once. If you're caught for time, this and the Spider-Man lunge are two really good go-to exercises to do. And from there, again, we're going to sit back and keeping my back straight as I can. It's going to round a bit as I get closer to the ground. Bringing my belly in line with my quads, and then big deep breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to bring my head closer to my leg, keeping my shoulders relaxed down and back, and coming out of that. So from there, we're going to move into a forward fold. Obviously by yourself, you're going to be doing this on both legs. So with the forward fold, I want you to stay up nice and tall and reaching as far forward as you can. If you can grab the legs, great. You're going to lift your chest up as much as you can. Inhale. And then on the exhale, you're going to move yourself forwards and stretch out as much as you can. Now, if this is impossible for you, if you're quite stiff and restricted through the hamstrings or the calves or the lower back, you can start with your knees bent. Keep your chest up nice and tall. Slowly edge out your legs. Into the stretch. Again, if you have the ability, you're going to straighten your legs completely. Okay, so after there, we're going to go into a pigeon pose. And with the pigeon, you're going to set your front leg, front knee up at 90 degrees. You're going to bend your back knee up with your front heel. This is just going to make it easier for more people to get into the position. And then you're going to lengthen up through your spine, get your sternum in line with your front knee. And then you're going to rock forwards and backwards for about 10 reps or a set amount of time. So you might do for 30 seconds or 15 seconds. And then you're going to hold it for 15 to 30 seconds. All right, so this is more of a feel, but generally 10 reps and holding for 15 to 30 seconds is a good way to go. And just showing you what it looks like from the front view or from the side view. I want to keep my spine up nice and tall, chest in line with my knee, and then I'm rocking forwards and backwards 10 times. I'm not rounding through my spine at any point. And then after my 10 or so reps, I'm going to do a static hold. Okay, so next is a posterior shoulder opener. With this one, you're going to cross your hand underneath your chest, and from there you're going to bring your top hand or top arm over the top, okay? And then what we're trying to do is getting both of our shoulders parallel. So at the moment my right shoulder is a lot higher, so I want to roll over onto my right shoulder as much as I can, and basically I can, rock into it a bit more, and after about 10 reps I can hold it. If this is feeling really easy, you can make it a lot more challenging by whatever arm is bent underneath. You can bend the same side leg. So my left arm is bent. I'm going to bend my leg up at 90 degrees. And now that's giving me a much more intense stretch through my upper arm and the posterior of my shoulder. So you can see what it looks like from this side. Again, my left arm is underneath, right arm over the top. And I want to line myself up as much as I can. And if this is very easy, you can bring this leg up, and that's going to increase the stretch considerably. So after that, going into a lounge chair. With the lounge chair, my fingers are behind my back, elbows pointing back behind me. And I'm going to keep my elbows pulled towards each other, and I'm going to rock forwards and backwards. So going for 10 repetitions, or the amount of reps that you need to do. And roughly on the 10th rep, you're going to hold the stretch here. And I'm focusing on bringing my elbows towards each other. So I'm getting a bit of rain here, so I'm just going to adjust where my laptop is. Bring it over here. Okay. So that's the lounge chair. Next is pancake. So with the pancake, you're going to bring the legs out, not to their absolute limit, but just bring them out to where is, slightly stretched. And then you're going to sit yourself up nice and tall. And from here, you're just going to gently rock side to side. Just getting comfortable with that position, making sure that the legs are able to lock out, and also making sure that the toes are pointing up and backwards, so they're not rotating inwards. And then you want to stay up nice and tall through your spine. And then you're just going to rock forwards and backwards 10 times. Really, this is an exercise that you do not want to push too much. You want to stay pretty strict with it. You don't want to overstretch, and it's an exercise that I've definitely overdone many times in the past, so just be careful. It's very intense in your adductors and your hamstrings. And then after roughly 10 repetitions, you can do your static hold, and you can hold for the 30 or 60 seconds. Personally, I prefer to spend a bit more time doing the pancake, simply because it takes more time to get into the stretch. So you can, spend 3, 4, 5 minutes here if you want, if you've got time. And then what we can do is move our arms over to one side, and we can go for 10 reps over to this side. On the 10th rep, you're going to grab the outside of the leg. If you have the range, you can actually grab the outside of the foot, keeping the spine up nice and tall. Breathing all the time, you're keeping that spine up tall. And then we can go to the other side. So again, going all the way outside that leg, roughly 10 times on this side as well. And from there, you're going to do a static hold. If you can grab the leg, do, and staying tall through the spine. That's the important thing. Don't round the back, or round it as minimally as you need to, or as possible. And then you're going to finally go forwards and backwards one last time. You should feel a lot more space in your hips now. You should feel that you're able to go much deeper. And again, just take your time. Don't overforce this position. All right, so last exercise is the butterfly position. And with the butterfly, you're going to grab your feet, not your toes. And you're just going to start by relaxing the groin and the hip flexors. And if you find this very, very uncomfortable, you can elevate your bum, so you can put a block underneath, and that'll make it less intense for you. And just showing you from the side. So up nice and tall, and then I'm just basically trying to get my knees closer to the ground, trying to relax my adductors, my groin, my hip flexors. And if you want as well, you can support yourself behind your back and just gently lower one side. Again, this is a movement that you really don't want to be rushing through. You can also grab the quad, and you're externally rotating. So you're thinking about bringing your quad towards the ground and pulling it back behind you. So that's going to open up your hip a lot more as well. And same thing on the other side. So gently pushing it down. Again, be very careful here. If you are tight through your hips, you're not going to want to probably do this variation. And then finally, you can just loosen it all out for the last however many seconds, whether that's 30 or 60 seconds. And that's it. So that's your full mobility routine. Again, you might want to do more or less time on each one, but there's 14 exercises there. It's going to take between 14, 15 minutes up to 20 or 30 minutes, depending on how much time you spend on each leg and whether you want to go a bit longer in exercises as well. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can comment below.